LoneStarGridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas high school football.
There you are.
Hello, sir.
How's it going, man?
I'm going all right. I like the passion. I like the passion that Jimmy has for that 6 man. That's awesome. It'd be a great show, especially for those really tune into that kind of stuff. Might have to listen just to hear him talk because he's got lots of good knowledge. Lots of good knowledge.
Cool. So we're about to jump over. I'm going to run a quick little spot here, and then we're going to run over and do 2A. And I just want to mention Black Friday sale, www.boardgamelegends.com, 50% off any of the games between now and Black Friday. So it's not just Black Friday sale. Have to use that code BF22. It'll take off half of the cost. So, Brett, who are we bringing in now?
I think that's me and you here.
This is us. Okay, well, that was easy.
Yeah, it's us.
Well, let's jump into 2A D2 then. Let's get started.
All right. Let's start over in Region 1. We got Vega over Memphis, 33-12. Seagraves over Bovina, 22-12. You got Wellington over Boys Ranch, 58-6. And Sudan over Ropes, 43-12. Didn't see anything, just the winners and runners up. Pretty straightforward in those first 4 matchups. It's going to match up Vega versus Seagraves and Wellington versus Sudan. So that's pretty much winner and runner up games there. So no big upsets in that first group. We'll scroll down to the bottom of that bracket as we have Rawls over Plains, 34-18. We got Clareton over Groover, 47-20. We've got New Home over Hale Center, 49-8. And then we've got Sunray over Shamrock, 53-35.
Yeah.
Again, was chalk there. All the winners and all the runners up advanced, so no big upsets early in that bracket. So you've got Rawls versus Clareton, and then New Home versus Sunray. So that region pretty much was chalk all the way through. We'll slide down to Region 2. We've got Wink with a big win, 60-0 over Cross Plains. We got Santo with a close win, 28-20 over Seymour. Albany, 49-13 winners over El Dorado. And we've got Munster with an upset win, 37-14 over Archer City. So that's looks like that district picked up an extra competitor there, District 8. So you've got Munster versus Albany and Wink versus Santo. So that was the first upset of that bracket. So
Munster is one of those teams that we do a coaches show for each week.
Okay.
And when you do one of those, you learn a lot about the team that you don't learn. And so it didn't feel like an upset for us because we knew kind of the inside. That's one of the shows Terry does. But
okay. Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing too. Like in that instance, just because it's it's an upset as far as the way they're seeded. We all know that some of the districts are, and we'll talk about that. There's several in the bigger classifications that we for sure know, like the district just swept, and so that may not have been as big an upset as we thought it was, just because the district just was better overall. So, all right, so let's slide on down. We've got the bottom half here of Region 2. We've got Windthrost over Celeste, 35-27. We've got a close one is we've got Sterling City with a 1-point win, 43-42 over Miles. And we've got Collinsville, 21-7 over Haskell. And McCarney with a win, 42-6 over Roscoe. We had Sterling City with that close win. They were the third seed in District 5, so they knocked off the second seed Miles team. So that sets up a matchup of Winthrop, Sterling City. That's actually already scheduled for, looks like the 17th. That's a Thursday at 7 p.m. in Clyde. And then we've got Collinsville versus McCarney. So that's that half of the bracket. So that's first two regions. We'll slide over to Region 3. We've got Bowie over Hico, 34-22. We've got Deweyville over Tenaha, 28-14. Mart is rolling right now, 67-14 over that's Linden Kildare. We've got Cushing with a win over is that Coles Mill? 27-26. That was a close one there. Just to point out in this top part of Region 3, I think this region's march to lose. They're a state contender every year pretty much. And this is going to be a tough. They're going to be a tough out. If anybody's going to beat Mart, they're going to have to catch them on a bad night probably and play a stellar game. I'm sure you know about Mart, Chris. You got
they're the epitome of a reloading team. Every year it seems like they're state bound almost. But I tell you, I'm kind of wincing as you say a couple of these names because some of the locals here are going to come out and say, "Hey, you're saying my name wrong."
Hey, it's all right. Hey, if they're listening, come in the chat and correct me. Come in the chat and correct me. Come on and be social today. We'll take all corrections here.
Right on.
All right, so we'll move down to the bottom half, and as I am from Northeast Texas Sports Network, we've got one of our favorites in this bracket, the Carlisle Indians, with a big win this week, 74-14 over Evadale, and I think Carlisle is unfortunate for them. They're in Mart's bracket. It's going to be. I have a feeling that they should be able to get to that Mart game. It'll be interesting to see how they can compete against Mart because Carlisle has been ranked most of the season, and so we've talked about them at length. But that's going to be a tough one. So we'll see if that matchup comes to fruition. Carlisle's going to be facing up against Wortham next round. Wortham got a big win over Clarksville, 54-6, and Lovelady, probably another favorite in that bracket, with a big win, 62-0 over Overton. We talked about Overton getting that playoff berth, first time in a long time. They kind of the Alto effect. Alto, their class, their numbers got skewed a little bit, and they were not eligible for playoff competition this year or next. So Overton got that extra spot in District 11. So Lovelady is going to go up against Maud as they win 21-14. So I look to in this bracket on this bottom half a Carlisle Lovelady matchup possibly in the third round if everything holds true. What do you think about that, Chris? You got anything to add on that?
No, I was just noticing. I think we have another comment here. Hold on one second. Corey, what were you saying?
Go ahead, Corey.
Oh. What's going on, guys? No, I was saying just you were talking about upsets in that division. Honestly, there's not many upsets that's going to be in that division. The big guys or the ranked teams, as you will see in the next division that we discuss, the ranked teams of district champions, they're going to control much of the 2A and the 3A, except in the East Texas region. We'll get on that a little bit later, but you're not going to get many upsets in that division at all, in those divisions. So.
What do you think about this bracket, Corey? You think it's shaping out to be Carlisle, possibly Lovelady winner goes against Mart there?
Lovelady's been surprising. And I mean, just sheer dominance. They've been dominant thus far, but we'll see how Carlisle lasts out. And I'm saying it with a smile on my face. You know how much we've gotten grief about Carlisle on our show. So we'll see how long Carlisle will last, especially Lovelady playing that good football at this late. So
awesome. All right, so that's Region 3. We'll slide down to Region 4 here. We got Chilton over Yorktown, 39-14. We've got a bracket over Woodboro, 68-12. Wow, that's a big one. Bracket
Yeah.
the third seed out of that district. So that's a big win for them. You got Burton, 47-0 over Milano. Rock Springs, 50-20 win over Agua.
What those say?
And so that's going to set up Chilton versus Brackett and Burton versus Rock Springs. You got any insight on that one, Chris? Not real familiar with those
Well,
teams.
Chilton's always tough. Chilton, was a state power 10 years ago, but it looks like they're coming back. They're going to be a strong one again.
Okay. All right, so we'll move down here to the last 4 games of this bracket. We've got Sabinal 43-0 over Pettis. We've got Falls City with a 40-36 win over Bremond.
Fremont.
That was a highlighted game. That was actually on last night. I kind of watched a little bit about that one,
Mm-hmm.
and one of those games that they could have either one of them could have won that game. It was a highly contested game. And Falls City was able to come out at the end and take that one, so it's a big win for them. We got D'Hanis over Brunei 12-0, and we've got Granger over Somerville 60-13. So that leaves matchups with Sabinal and Falls City in the top, and you got D'Hanis and Granger on the bottom half there.
I tell you that Sabinal Falls City matchup is going to be a good one because those are two very strong teams, and you can see by their score in the by district they're both on fire right now.
Yeah, should be a good one. Should be a good one. That wraps up that bracket. Y'all got any final thoughts before we close out this region or this division?
D2. Now you want to jump over to D1, and I guess Corey just stay in here.
All right, we'll jump over to 2A Division 1.
All right, let me back myself out, and I will put us on the ticker.
All right, welcome again, Corey. We'll talk some 2A Division 1 football here.
Let's go.
All right. I'll start to do some scores. You want to do some too? You got your bracket pulled up there?
Let me go back to my bracket here.
That way they don't have to continue listening to me talk the entire time. I'll start out with Region 1, this top part here. We got Stratford 49-8 over Sundown, and Cisco with a 55-0 win over Reagan County. We got New Deal 71-18 over Highland Park Hornets out of Amarillo. We got Forson with a 21-14 win over Stanford. That's going to match up Stratford and Cisco in the next round. They're going to play, looks like Friday night at 6 p.m. and New Deal and Forson are going to play Thursday night at 7 p.m. So, yeah, I'll pass it on. You want to look at that bottom part there, Corey?
Yeah, it looks like we got Sonora, which is with a 28-27 win over Only. Let's see, we got Farewell over Alton, 41-23. Looks like they'll play that next matchup there. We got Hawley 52-8 over Cristobal, which is also if you look at that, that's just a blowout. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen all throughout the round. But Hawley with a big time win, Panhandle over Florida 54-28. That was another shocker right there. But Panhandle and Hawley will be playing in that next matchup as well into the bottom half of Region 1. So that's going to be some good matchups there. Both teams score over 50, so you can tell their offenses are humming right now. So let's see. I guess the first team that scores 50 wins that game. I guess
it might be more than that. I mean, at this
Right.
point, the defenses didn't. I mean, of course, Harley's defense only allowed 8 points. You don't know the caliber of opponent that they faced, but yeah, it should be a shootout. Should be at least 100 points scored total. No
Right.
problem there. No problem there. All right, we'll roll down here to Region 2. We've got Toller over White Wright 61-0, and Marlin over Rio Vista 38-7. It's going to match up Toller and Marlin in the next round. You've got Tioga couldn't
So
quite get a Tioga
yeah,
falls to
Tioga.
Hamilton 41-15. Wow, that's an upset there as the Hamilton gets in as the fourth place team and knocks off them. They're going to face Axtell in the
Actually,
next round as they won 28-27 in a close one. So you've got District 5's fourth place. It must have been a tough district right there. I'm just going to throw that out there because looks like they're going to make some noise.
right. And that was an upset. That's one of the first upsets we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton with that big time win. So I'm anxious to see how that kind of balances itself out, especially with the rest of the region too. You
Yeah,
got
go ahead.
Riesel over Cayuga, 28-7. Then you've got Bangs over Nakona, 61-21. So that's another game that's going to be played on the 18th here on Friday at 7:30. That's of course as well. Then you got Crawford over Kern, 66-7, and then you got Coleman over Alvord, 46-7. So the bottom half of this one, of course, we covered parts of Cayuga's a little outside of the East Texas area, but we still cover it nonetheless. Those some big games, and Cayuga's been playing very well. But like we said before, there's no upsets. I kind of mentioned it before. You get in this region, there's the smaller room for upsets. Those
Yeah.
teams that are dominant are going to dominate these particular regions. So
It looks like District 5 though is tough. They got all four teams moving on, so
right,
that's like they're showing their strength.
right,
All right, so let's move over here to the other side of the bracket, and this is going to be a little more familiar territory to us, Corey, right
right.
here. This Region 3 is going to be some juicy ones, as Cooper with a big win over Hawkins,
Big
55 to
shocker.
6.
Right.
No shocker there, and if they ever got some love from some CM this year, we're still trying to get you to believe.
But I'm believing now. They're playing good football. I'm believing now.
You got Corrigan Camden with a 28-7 win over Garrison.
That was a big win. That was a big shocker.
I did. I had Garrison in that one in our Pick'em Challenge. I thought that just Garrison being in that district, they played Timpson really tough. I thought they would
Right.
be able to do it. But man, shout out to Corrigan.
That's a tough. Yeah. Shout out to Corrigan Candle. Naturally Corrigan Candle's been good in the past. They've had a rich tradition in football as well, so it's no surprise. But we thought that Garrison would kind of hold it out because they've been playing good football too. And that 28-7 win, that's just more convincing for them up to this point. So that Corrigan Candle and Cooper game this coming Friday is going to be something to watch.
Yeah. And basically, we've got that game will be in Athens. Looks like
Yes.
it'll be Friday at 7 p.m. That's going to be a good one. If you I think Vince has something to say. Bring Vince on here.
Nah, don't bring me. Hey, whoa, wait.
Come on. You said how is it a shocker?
How is it a shocker when they've been blowing people out all district? How's it a shocker? You wasn't paying attention. You was sleeping on it.
A shocker for who? Who?
Just say it for what it is.
Okay, who are you saying is not a shocker?
On the Corrigan game.
They just got beat handily by Centerville last week.
But before that, what did we talk about? Nobody scored against this team in district. Nobody. Yeah. Well, the last game of district, yeah. Which I was wondering if there a reason why they got beat that way. Maybe they rested some people. I don't know.
No, Vince, no.
You don't blank 4 teams in a row. I'm throwing it out there. You don't blank 4 teams in a row. So for me, it wasn't no shocker. Was I the only one that picked them in our thing?
You probably were.
You probably were, yeah.
Okay, well.
Here's my reasoning why. Here's my reasoning on that particular game is
no disrespect to Garrison.
Garrison played in Timpson's their thing, and so I think that's the reason why that I went with them. I thought they were tougher and more prepared. They played Timpson very solid and were very close to beating Timpson. That's the reason why I gave them the edge. It had anything to do with Corrigan Canyon's previous game. It was more about playing Timpson tough. So that's why I went with them.
Well, Corey's just over there looking foolish.
I'm gonna look foolish. I
How?
did Jordan Kendall. I picked Garrison.
Well,
I picked
here's
Garrison.
one we're not surprised about down below in the bottom half of this particular part of the bracket is Beckville rolls 77-7
Nobody's
over
surprised.
Rivercrest. That's
That's
no
not a
surprise
surprise.
there.
Oh, but
Joaquin
Joaquin and Becker.
61-0 over Leon, and that's a juicy matchup right there, guys. Beckville,
Yeah,
Joaquin.
Yeah,
We don't have a
that's
time
a
or
good
date
one.
for that one yet, but that's going to be a good one.
yeah. That's the game of East Texas at this point. That's the big one right there.
This
Well,
whole
yeah,
bracket turned into a pretty good one. Corey, you
and it
want to
ended up
grab that
being
bottom half?
juicy. Oh, for sure. Timpson, no surprise, beat Groveton 60-3. Groveton Indians are not the same as they used to be, but nonetheless, they still made it to the playoffs. But nobody's stopping Bussy and them. If you guys watch the show, that's what we call Timpson and that crew. Frankston 47-34. Shout out to the Frankston Indians for getting that victory. Now, of course, Frankston's 9-2 at this point, and they're facing a Timpson team that's undefeated, and they're going to battle at Rusk and Eagle Stadium.
Congratulations to Frankston. Good season, Frankston, but I think it ends.
No love for Frankston. That's the disrespect. No love for Frankston. That's the disrespect.
I'm brutally honest. I give luck to Frankston, but
I expect a good game. But here's an even deeper matchup.
A good game.
Hey, come on. Maybe it's competitive.
Listen, I'm not gonna disrespect them. They got to show up. They got to play. I'll ride with Frankston. I don't care. I'm kind of an underdog anyway.
So you're gonna pick Frankston this week.
I want to see Goliath fall. Now, not necessarily seeing that be Timpson. Maybe that be.
I don't think they house Frankston by 70 or by 60 points. I don't think they blank them. However, I do believe the next matchup they get past Frankston.
Not gonna happen.
You have to keep the score low. You're gonna have to keep it low.
I don't think they're gonna score 60 on Frankston. They may score 40. It may be 40-27. I give them that. It's gonna be a matchup.
No,
but I don't
listen, Frankston.
Bussin' and boys gonna win by as many touchdowns.
I'm finna give you the solution. I'm finna give Frankston the solution.
What? Don't show up?
No. First,
so if you forfeit, you don't have there's no score. So you
gotta keep the score low. You're gonna need to put 8 in the box. And secondly, you probably gonna have to pray for some rain. Maybe a couple lightning strikes. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't even know if you put 8 in the box if that's gonna stop Bussy.
Are you trying to say that you want the lightning to strike somebody on the field?
No, I'm saying that it slows
just as far as
it slows down the momentum.
The game goes.
In case the game get out of hand, maybe lightning strikes and y'all delay so y'all can regroup. Because listen, Bussy is a monster, man. He absolute monster.
We got to keep it moving.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's all right. We got Centerville. The matchup that I was talking about. We had Centerville 51 over Shelby, 51-13 over Shelbyville. Then, of course, Honey Grove beat Harleton 45-6. Now, of course, Shelbyville's not bad. Harleton didn't have a bad season either. But both teams, Centerville, we know we didn't discuss how good Centerville was until about mid-season. Centerville's pretty good. They're the top 10 team, and Centerville's pretty good. So I'm looking forward to the Centerville Timpson game. I'm just going to look forward to Centerville.
This whole bracket is juicy matchups. I'll just say that. All 4 of these games are really good matchups.
Oh yeah. If just by happening, if Frankston does get past Centerville, if they're gonna beat Frankston get past Timpson. I'm sorry, Centerville. That Centerville Timpson game, play it in Tyler. I'd like for them to play that game in Tyler, something like that. That'd be nice.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's go on down here. I know that's some juicy ones. We'll see what Region 4 has got going for us here. We've got Flatona 59-32. That's going to be over Junction. We've got Three Rivers 62-19 win over Freer. That'll match up Flatona and Three Rivers in the second round. We've got Mason 44-7 over Hearn, and Shiner 54-14 over Mason. Shiner is on a collision course with your Furio in this bracket, as those two teams are they've played a few times over the last several years, and it should be a good one. All right, so we've
Well,
got
hey, I have to mention something on that one.
go for it, Chris.
Beside the fact that they're both in the same district, so yeah, they do play each other a lot, Refurio and Shiner. Um, Interesting matchup of those two. They did play in district, um,
Okay.
but you just don't know what's going to happen uh, as they move forward. Looking at Refurio, Coach Jason Herring, when first week of the season they lost to Hitchcock, and they lost bad to Hitchcock, but he said almost everybody's an underclassman. I mean, his whole team is underclassmen. Sophomores are younger, So um, it took them a while. They're learning, but their line is big. And at this level, if you got a big line, you
Right.
can do something because talent guys are everywhere at that level. You can find a running back, but it's hard to find a big line. And they're figuring it out. They're learning their moves and their blocks, and on the defensive side, how to get around those blocks. So I think Refurio is probably a lot better than people realize. Both of them blew through the district, beating teams 50, 60 to nothing. I mean, they just rolled through district. So you're going to see a collision for sure. I agree with that.
Okay.
Awesome. That's good perspective because as we go down here, Corey, we got a Refugio score there.
Right. Of course, they beat Ben Bolt 66-14. So that's a no brainer right there. That is going to breeze through this entire region. They got Holland beat Stockdale 36-31, which is a close game. I just don't see that being a big time matchup there. We got Ganado beating La Villa 68-6. I'm sorry, and Thorndale beating Johnson 41-30. So that, of course, that rack is going to be that bottom bracket is going to be Refurio versus Shiner eventually. So we already know how that's going to match up.
All right. I guess that wraps. Anything else you want to talk about for this particular classification here, 2A Division 2? Any last thoughts?
No, just shout out to Frankston. I mean, Vince is not giving him a chance, so I am
I'm the one
looking
giving him a
for
chance.
that
What are you
game. I'm
talking
looking
about?
for that game. I'm
Oh,
looking for it.
we've got one of our loyal listeners here, guys, that's got a comment for us.
Hold on, Derek.
Like Derek, I survived on my island. You sure did. You did more than survive on your island, Derek.
Mhm.
You
He
did
did.
fairly
He
well.
did. Yeah.
I'll
Right.
give that as Derek. And actually, I think you had several on there with you. After I went back and looked at it, so Mount Vernon. We'll talk about that game here shortly.
Here's
Big
Eddie. I want
win.
to see what happened to Liberty Ilo since they were so good this year in Atlanta. I want to see what happened to them. Yeah, they
All right.
played
Well,
Centerville. Yeah. Anyway.
that wraps it up for Region 2. We'll bring Chris back, and we'll move on to the next segment.